Alright guys, so welcome back to our RJ Speed Nitro Funny Car Kit. This is going to be part 2. So we got most of the mechanical stuff done and we had a lot of little loose ends to tie up. So let me show you what we did on this thing because it has been an adventure. And it is also proven if you don't have a bunch of Rubbermaids and a bunch of organizers full of small parts, you're going to have trouble building this kit. So as you can tell, I got most of it done. This thing has been kind of challenging for what it is. Because not a whole lot of the kit stuff really works the way it's supposed to, especially having a bump start small block, which I do, but I don't really feel like throwing a $300 OS engine at this thing because it is basically a die-cut piece of fiberglass flat chassis race car with no suspension. So I cured the bump start engine problem with using my own set of pull start engine mounts, and I wound up using a Traxxas Pro 15 so I could use a pull start, and that lifted the engine up to make everything work. Wasn't that hard to do. I mean, you could buy these mounts on, eBay for 10, 12 bucks a set. They're just small block pull start mounts. So the next issue is they don't supply you with the clutch, but I found out that the Traxxas clutch works pretty well. The little 10 scale clutch. It's on a Traxxas engine, but it's the 32 pitch gear, so everything's good there. That part we made happen. So the next thing I had to figure out was the fuel tank, which is supposed to mount backwards facing towards the engine. I tried to turn it around and well, that didn't work, so I just went and cured that by just 3M VHB and a rustler tank to the chassis, and it worked out pretty good. Alright, so after solving the fuel tank issue, well, muffler issue, side exhaust, I just use a HPI can muffler, something you would find on a Super or a Mini or something like that, but it cleared pretty good, pretty well. It did everything it's supposed to do, and this thing's basic. So my issue after that was trying to figure out the linkages. Now I did use the rod supplied for the brakes after figuring out the brakes after snapping a little tiny screw off on the back of the chassis because it is friction brakes. It actually uses the servo on the clutch belt, which believe it or not, it does do some pretty decent braking things. But we got that one figured out. And one of the crazier things about the kit is the hole for the servo didn't fit, so I wound up using a Dremel, dremeling everything out to find out that it is in fact fiberglass, because if you've ever tasted fiberglass dust, well, wear a mask. But I'm a man, I'm gonna die like a man. Did not wear a mask and it's the next day and I still have the taste of fiberglass on my tongue. So then the issue of the instructions shows you to put the kingpin springs under the actual wheels, but if you do that, your wheels would stick up and you're just laying on your chassis at about a 5mm gap. So I went ahead and reversed those over, and they give you this weird linkage rod setup where you've got 4 linkage rods and you're supposed to just put them together with collars. But I wound up using my my Great Plains Z-bender, and I made my own linkages, and it actually worked out pretty good. Now this steering isn't the most ideal thing in the world, but listen, it works because the servo is just it's 3M VHB to the chassis, so as long as your linkage rods are fairly straight, you got some steering. Now this thing's not going to turn on the dime and give you 10 cents back, but it's gonna make a turn come back to you when you need it to. Now the tank's in there a little bit sideways, and had I chance to do it again, this little chassis brace, I would have just used my cutout wheel and cut those extra thread offs. But if you're ever wondering how strong VHB is, yeah guys, that tank isn't going anywhere. This servo isn't. So now that basically all the mechanicals are done on this thing, all we really need to do is break it in. But we're going to start by, we're going to work on the body just a little bit. Because they do give you a decent looking body in this. So this is the body they give us. It gives us window mass. And it's pre-cut. It's not trim though. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to go around with a Sharpie. We're going to center up our cylinder head in the back window, because that back window is going to get cut out. And we're going to mark all of our body holes before we do anything. Now the cylinder head's putting a little bit of pressure on that back window, but you're just going to take a Sharpie and you're going to put an X where you're going to need your body post. And I'm going to have to turn this thing around because when I let go of it, it shifts over to the right. And once you get all your body post holes lined up, you're going to go ahead and mark the center of your wheels at all 4 corners. That's going to show you you're going to have to cut it out for your wheels once you get the body painted. All right, so now we have our marks for our body posts. We got our center lines for our wheels. We're going to go and take some rubbing alcohol. We're going to clean out the inside of this thing just to knock the release agent off of. So now with no great care taken, get your window mass in. They actually give you a window mass for the back window because our head is sticking up a little bit far. We're going to cut that back window out. Plus, better cooling too. Then from there, grab a Scotch-Brite pad and just lightly scuff up the surface. Give that paint something to stick to. Once you see the scratches in the light, you are golden. And don't worry about Lexan, guys, because when you scratch it, you don't see it from the inside, because once we peel the body, you won't even know that you did. And again, it'll keep your paint from coming off in sheets, because well, we're using the P paint. So, and also we're using Tamiya PS1. It's just a white polycarbonate paint, and then we're going to give it a fade with the red on the PS2. Then once you're scuffed up, just hitting it with your rubbing alcohol one more time just to knock anything off of there that would prevent the paint from actually sticking. Hey guys, don't take too much time or care doing this. It's a toy. We're gonna wreck this thing, I guarantee you, but at least it'll be pretty for a little bit. Now inside the Nitro shop, it's about 72, 73 degrees, and out here it's cloudy, kind of misty, and it's also about 88 degrees. So we're gonna let everything sit out here for about 15, 20 minutes, let all the temperatures equalize. We're gonna get to painting. All right guys, you didn't seriously think that I was gonna do a 210 paint job on this thing, so I'm gonna use the white to back it. I'm gonna let her dry. We'll bring her back into the shop. All right, so while that body is drying, I bet we go and get this thing running and get some tanks through it. And when it's all said and done, we can go ahead and get the body trimmed up on this thing. So with any luck, it's a bit of a long haul to get some fuel up here, but no guts, no glory. But we go ahead and lower that idle just a little bit, and we can get this thing outside. Do good Traxxas 15 things for us. So we'll just kind of let this thing run some tanks through, and by that time we can trim that body up. All right guys, so that's like 3.5, almost 4 tanks on this thing, so she should be pretty well broken in. But of course I had to cut it short because, well, it started to rain pretty good out there. So, but hey, at least our body didn't get wet. So let's go ahead and get our body cut up. All right guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut, and we're going to come up about maybe a 1/4 inch off the bottom of this body line. It ain't got to be perfect, it's just got to be a little bit shorter so we have a little bit of ground clearance. Perfection is not the key there, gentlemen. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that all the way around. I'm gonna trim the nose out. And guys, after that, I'm just gonna take my X-Acto and I'm going to score a line all the way around this back window. I'm probably gonna slip, probably gonna cut the Lexan, but hey, it is what it is. And once we get that done, and yes guys, I did wind up missing, hitting part of that Lexan. We're just gonna take it, we're gonna drill a big old hole. And then from there, we're going to take our, where the hell my body trimmers go? Go grab my Dubros. I thought I had my Dubros already here, but evidently not. Yeah, I know they're curved scissors. But basically all you're going to do is you're going to trim out as close as you can to your flat edges without going too far over, preferably not that far over at all. And you're just going to push it in, and it's just going to snap off. So I'm going to do that all the way around to get this back window open. And if everything goes correctly, you're going to want it with a hole that looks just like that. And if you did it incorrectly, you want it with this little nick right here. But I think we're going to be okay on that. So next thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to grab my 5/16 drill bit. I'm going to drill out my X's for my body post. And once you drilled all your body post X's out, with any luck, it's going to fit right on. Hey, look at that, guys. All posts are present and accounting for. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to kind of go around these holes where the center line of that wheel is, and we're going to open up our wheel wells. So now with the wheel wells all trimmed out, she's not looking too terribly bad. So I guess the next plan we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take out these window masks. Just use an X-Acto knife and get a hold of them. Give me a yeet. And we can live with that A-pellet looking like that. And from there, get out your smoke. I'm not going back out in the rain, guys. And you're just going to smoke the windows a little bit. It's just a window tint is all it is. And cool stuff about this stuff, guys, is this stuff dries All right, now I went ahead and cut out the back because this whole area back here is super, super thin, but let's find out what color we actually painted it, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but that was, to me, a red, not purple. But the crazy thing about this thing is that the body mask is in fact blue, and that's why she's looking all kinds of purple. I kind of like that color red. And once we get this done, guys, I got to take these body posts and I got to rotate them around where the body clips are all facing the same direction. I didn't think it was going to come off in one piece, because window mat or a body mast generally do not come off in one piece. I've had a couple cars, but she ain't looking too bad. She kind of has the greenhouse look of a Corvette. I'm going to get these body posts rotated around. Guys, she ain't looking too bad, but I think she needs some type of product identification. Let's go ahead and stick us an RJ Speed sticker right there. Let's move around, put one on the, actually, let's put a little one on the fender. Looks pretty good. Break up some of the red. We'll do us the same thing over here. Wheel wells are a little bit big for all that little stuff, but hey, it is what it is. You guys, if you ever buy your own stickers, make sure you get the back split. It makes it so much easier to work with. That's looking pretty good. We need something for up here, but we'll figure that out later. But another thing this thing has that is super cool is every funny car gotta have a wing. I probably should have cut that center piece out, but you know, hey, I don't always follow the directions. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. Let's see if we can peel this thing off real quick. Nope. I'm gonna have to get in there with an X-Acto knife and cut that out, but she don't look bad. All right, guys, you gotta admit, she ain't looking too bad. She ain't looking too bad at all. Paint came out decent. Kind of sucks about the A-pillar, but the only thing left to do is get this thing tires on the ground, but we need the rain to stop. It has been raining pretty steady all day, and again, that sun really needs to poke its head out because, well, Florida, it's the sunshine state, not the rain state. But it'll stop raining in a few. Man, all I want to do is go out here and play with my toy, man. Why can't I play with my toy? Damn Florida. Guys, it is end of day. I got to get home, but listen, it has not stopped raining, so we're going to get this thing tires on the ground here real soon so she can get her sticker. But, man, that sucks. I've been working on this thing for a day and a half now, and, well, I really want to see this thing at least make one little pass. Just give me something, but I'm not going to run this car in the rain, guys. There's no way. Everything on this thing is exposed. And these Fly Sky GT5 receivers, they don't like water. Guys, it counts. Tires on the ground, she's getting a sticker. Guys, this thing was definitely a cool build. A little challenging, but again, I'm in it. So, you know, I didn't have to go anywhere to get anything to make all this stuff work, because I'm gonna guess this kit was designed sometime in the 90s. But for a $150 kit, we're gonna throw a motor, a clutch, a muffler, receiver, and 2 servos at. Not too bad. You know, and this thing will get back on the channel here pretty soon. Actually, tires on pavement, not just on what tile, concrete, and carpet. But would I recommend this kit? Yeah, if you could build something, you could build this thing. It's not all that challenging. You know, if you're used to Tamiya instructions, well, you might have a little issue, because those instructions are good. These instructions are not good. But listen, guys. She is now number 333 out of my 500 running Nitros. I know I kind of cheated running it in the shop, but I'm just not going to run this thing in the rain. So, but listen, you guys saw tires on the ground? It counts. But listen, I'll see you guys on the next one.